Hi, welcome to the F1 Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast started by two delighted Formula One fans. I'm your host, Rosa.
And I'm your You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet host, Luigi. And today we're taking you back to the 1975 season, part 4. So let's go. Delighted?
Yeah,
Yes.
Delighted. I'm going with the happy vibes, Louis. I do love doing this review and talking about Formula One. So I'm just going to put that out in the universe.
Okay, and we've also had 2 races won by new drivers. So they're delighted, but Mass and Pache. So
Yes.
there's a lot of delight from them.
They're only F1 wins of their career.
Well, they don't know that yet, but yeah.
They don't know. But yes, they would be delighted. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Yeah. That's a big song, isn't it?
I don't even remember who sings it. Who sings You
Neither
Ain't Seen
do
Nothing
I.
Yet? And I don't think it's a high-profile band.
I don't think it is. I reckon in Australia, though, as we're in Australia, I think it was the song of a very popular ad campaign.
Ah, yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was for, though.
And it's by Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Overdrive. I have heard of them. Yes, I have heard of them.
They may have had other hits too. I just don't know.
Yeah, Bachman Turner Overdrive. And it was the song behind a very popular ad campaign, but I don't remember who it was. But anyway, that's why I remember it. But there you go. Okay. And yeah, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Good choice.
Yeah, because we haven't seen any driver dominate yet.
No,
Do you know what I mean? We've seen now we've had 5 races, 5 different winners. No one's saying this is my championship.
No,
so we still don't know why it's called the unbelievable year.
No, we don't.
We haven't seen justification, have we?
No. That's a good title by us, Louis. That's a good title.
Okay, let's see if it's going to come through now. So race 6 of 14, the Belgian Grand Prix. It's at Zolder, 25th of May, 70 laps, and the weather was overcast but dry. So Ferrari arrived at the circuit ready and eager and buoyed by their Monaco win, their first in 20 years at that track.
Yes. So grid places was set on the Friday as the Saturday session was rained out, and Lauda set pole position. Pache second, and a surprising Brambilla in the March third. Regazzoni fourth.
Yeah, and by setting pole time, Lauda was given the option of starting from either the left or the right-hand side of the track. And he decided the left, as the first corner is a slow left-hander. So I found it interesting.
That is very unusual that he gets to decide.
Yeah. Like, that brought back memories for me. Like, I was thinking in 88, 89 or 88 and 89, Senna got pole position, I think, for the Japan Grand Prix. And both times he asked for the racing, the pole position to be switched onto the racing line, and they refused. And here they are giving Lauda the choice. So what changed? What happened?
What happened? Well, Formula One just became
rigid,
tyrannical. Yes,
but they couldn't afford the cost of paint to move it to the other side or something.
And in today's Formula One, you do sometimes hear about like even now, sometimes the pole, people don't like pole. They go, oh, it's better to be second because you go into the right, you go on the right side of the turn or whatever. Like, I can't remember which track it is. But, I mean, I wasn't even at the last race where Piastri was second and he got that slipstream.
We're talking 2025 Belgium here.
2025 Belgium, yeah. And and I think even Piastri joked, I wanted second place on purpose for the slipstream.
Yeah.
So I just wonder whether there is kind of like a better side of the track for some tracks that isn't pole position.
Yeah. And in this case, he got the best of both worlds. He could choose the side
he
and have pole position and have the you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he got to choose the best line and he was still pole. So, yeah, good on him. Yeah. So at the race start, it was Pache that was quickest though, and he took the lead before the first corner. So much for that. But anyway, Brambilla and Regazzoni also almost got alongside Lauda.
Yeah, I think this is the sort of thing when you give people too much time to think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
He spent so much time thinking about what side, he forgot about focusing on his race start.
That's right.
On lap 3, Brambilla made it past Lauda as well, and only one lap later also overtook Pache for the lead. What was that you said about March?
I know. Brambilla in the March out of nowhere, it seems. That is just, yeah. Although Pache was having some handling issues. So it was a good effort from the Italian in the March. But, yeah, Pache wasn't in a very strong position, I guess.
Yeah. So on lap 6, Lauda recovered from his sluggish start and overtook Pache, and then Brambilla to gradually put out a good lead. So Lauda just got his head in gear and did what he does.
Yeah, put the bad start behind him. So 10 laps later, and Lauda was starting to take control of things. He was now followed by Scheckter. Brambilla was 3rd, Regazzoni 4th, and Pache was now down in 5th.
Yeah, as the race reached half distance, Lauda was still increasing his lead over Scheckter, while Brambilla was struggling to hold on to 3rd, and Reutemann was now in 4th, after Regazzoni needed an emergency pit stop for a fraying tyre. That's not good.
No. And, remember in the days of the 50s and 60s, Louis, where if you were leading the race, it wasn't a very secure position. And if you were second, I'm starting to get those vibes.
Yeah. That's 75. 5 races, 5 different winners. Yeah.
That's right. I'm starting to get that vibe here. So I hope Lauda can hold on. Even though I've reviewed this season, I forget what happens in each race. So it is like reliving the...
Yeah, and I do remember the video footage. That fraying tyre was really fraying. Like it was lots of thread and bits of black strips coming off it. I'm surprised it didn't destroy the wing, is all I can say. It must have been, the wings were made strong back in those days.
Right. So on lap 49, Brambilla also had to dive into the pits for a tyre change, promoting Reutemann into 3rd and allowing Fittipaldi, Depailler, Price and Pache all to pass him while he was in the pits.
Yeah. So in the final laps, Lauda had problems as his exhaust manifold pipe had broken, but fortunately there was no loss of power for the Ferrari. So it may have not sounded as cool.
See what I mean? When you're in the lead, something always goes wrong.
Yeah, he had a problem in the last race as well, didn't he? The last race that he won, I think. Yeah.
So Scheckter, urged on by the pit signals, tried to close the gap but was running out of fuel. So he had to quickly back off, giving Lauda his second victory in a row with a 20-second margin. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. So Scheckter came second and Reutemann 3rd. So not much to say about that race other than Lauda domination after a sluggish start.
Yeah. So Lauda takes the lead of the championship. He's now on 23 points. Fittipaldi's second on 21. Pache and Reutemann's on 16 each, and Scheckter is 5th on 15 points. And in the constructors, Brabham is in the lead on 29 points. That's pretty good. Yeah, McLaren.
Reutemann's been very reliable. He's always getting points.
Yeah. Well, like you said, both of those drivers could be number one because they're just up there. So they're
equal points right now, aren't they?
Yeah. Whereas McLaren, who's the other driver for McLaren? Muss. He's not doing much, is he?
No.
Poor old Fittipaldi's on his own. So McLaren's second on 26.5. Ferrari is third on 26.
It's tight. Yeah.
Getting tight. Yep.
Okay. So up to the 7th race of the season, the Swedish Grand Prix at Anderstorp. June 8th, number of laps is 80 and the weather was warm and sunny. So practice started normally enough with Lauda leading the timing boards, as has been the recent trend. However, he wasn't having it all his own way, with qualifying resulting in pole position for our special friend Brambilla in the March.
What?
Yes, I know. He's purple patch guy.
He's purple patch guy. This March has come out of nowhere. What? Now, Louis, can you look up who the other March driver is at this point? Because I think they actually do switch out Lella Lombardi. I didn't make note of it, but she might not be in the other car at this point. But anyway, because when they started getting successful, I think they switched her out.
Yeah,
is she still there?
I'm having a look. Yeah, there's no. Oh no, Lella's still there.
Oh,
And,
good.
and she
Good.
qualifies 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14. This is a great pod. I'm not going to count out more. But it's like third or fourth last. So I
Okay.
don't know how to say it. It's 20-something.
Yeah. Okay. So Depailler grabs second in the Tyrrell and Jarier third in the Shadow. Well, Shadow's back up there. He's finally figured out that car. And the Ferraris, you ask, Luigi. Well, I'll ask for you, Luigi. Lauda's fifth and Regazzoni 11th.
Unusual grid. And look at our championship leaders way down.
Way down, yes. Okay.
And that
So
includes
at race-
Fittipaldi. He's the other championship sort of leader. And where is he? Oh, he's like way down too. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 12th with Regazzoni. Yeah, so they're the weird
That
grid.
is a very mixed up grid, isn't it? So at race start, it was Brambilla going straight into the lead from pole with Depailler, Jarier, Reutemann, Pache and Lauda all falling in behind him.
Yeah, so Brambilla couldn't pull away from the pack behind him, and by lap 11, he was in trouble with understeering, causing his front left tyre to overheat. So it's not bad, but it lasted up until lap 11. That's when he had these issues. It got worse. Yeah.
Do you reckon is understeering caused by tyre wear? Or does understeering cause tyre wear, Luigi? Sorry, that's a technical question.
I don't know the answer. Yeah, I don't know. I know cars can have understeering characteristics, which will then not be good, but I don't know if it's the other way around.
How it's actually caused. Yeah. Anyway, might need to. We're not a technical podcast,
Normally
but it is
Normally
interesting.
it's set up that fixes it, but
Yes, yeah. And we do hear cars sliding all over the place here. So I wonder if that's also understeering characteristics. So I don't know. Anyway, continuing on. On lap 16, Reutemann got past Brambilla and Jarier also muscled past Brambilla until the Italian forced to pit to change that troublesome front left tyre on lap 18.
Poor Brambilla, he had it lead and and he just changed one tyre.
I know.
Shows the speed of things. So when Brambilla rejoined, he was down in 15th. Meanwhile, up front, the race was heating up, with the 5 leading cars of Reutemann, Jarier, Pache, Lauda and Hunt being closely followed by Regazzoni and Andretti.
Hunt then retired with a broken fuel pipe, maybe, Louis? I don't know. I've left out a word there.
Yeah.
On lap 22, Brambilla and Jarier also retired by lap 39 with mechanical issues. And on lap 42, Pache spun off, damaging his car and putting him out of the race.
Oh, wow. So in less than 5 minutes, Loud had moved from 4th to 2nd, and he was only 10 seconds behind Reutemann. And with all the retirements, there was a surprised battle going on between Regazzoni and Andretti. They were trying to resolve third place, is a good way of putting it.
Okay, so on lap 56, Lauda had got to within 3 seconds of Reutemann. And with the Brabham suffering some tyre wear, especially on the rears, the superbly handling Ferrari was primed to overtake.
Yes.
They weren't my words, by the way. That was Mike Lang. He's in love with his Ferrari.
Yeah, wow. He just needs Hunt in that car, then he'll be in heaven.
Yes, that's right.
He loves James Hunt. On lap 65, the 2 cars were absolutely together and Lauda was looking for a way past, but Reutemann was in no mood and did not give up his defence.
Yeah,
he seems like a tough driver to get past. Him and Scheckter are 2 tough guys to get past.
That's right. I remember this happening in a few seasons ago as well. So only on lap 70 of 80 was Lauda finally able to overtake on the main straight with a burst of power. And Lauda proceeded to win by over 6 seconds.
Yeah, so Reutemann was 2nd. Regazzoni finished 3rd, having finally held off Andretti for much of the race. So, Ferrari won 3. And Reutemann, again, getting points consistently.
Yes, consistently, yes. So, Lauda then, though, extends his lead. He's now on 32. Reutemann overtakes Fittipaldi. He's on 22. Fittipaldi's 3rd on 21. And then the constructors, Ferrari leaps into the lead. They're on 35. Brabham's on 33. But because of the rules, they actually could be on 35, but only the top 6 results count for the points. So they're on 33 and McLaren's on 26.5.
Was it only the best 6 results for the constructors, is it? Only the best in the first 7 races. Okay. Interesting. Very close anyway, regardless.
Yes.
Even the Drivers' Championship, Lauda's starting to put his foot down on 32.
He's 10 points. It's still like that's only one win, isn't it?
It's one win. Yeah. So anything can happen in this era with reliability and all that. And Lauda's 2 wins, he had problems each time and he was nursing his car. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're up to race 8, which is the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, June 22, 75 laps. The weather was rain, then dry, so that makes for interesting. So the Ferrari's dominant win at Zandvoort in 74, as well as their recent form, really meant that the field was in a bit of a despondent mood. They shouldn't be, though, because look at Brambilla, the Shadows. Yeah. They shouldn't be too down about it.
No, everyone should be happy that Ferrari is winning, actually.
Yeah.
But practice did justify their mood as Lauda and Regazzoni set a scorching pace and they totally dominated the proceedings.
And I wonder if now, because we know Emerson's about 11 points behind Lauda, whether he regrets having gone home on the morning of that. It was Spanish Grand Prix, not the South African Grand Prix.
Yeah, it was Spanish. Yeah.
So I keep thinking of that because it's one of those big moves. Like he did do a big dog move.
It was a big dog move, yeah. Well, it's a defining moment, isn't it, in this championship?
It is, I think. So to the practice session, by the end of these sessions, Lauda had essentially set pole. Regazzoni secured seconds. That's a Ferrari 1-2. Hunt third and Scheckter fourth.
So on race day, the start was delayed by rainstorms as the teams persuaded the organisers to let them run on wet tyres. Yeah,
I don't understand.
This is the one. Yeah.
Why do they have to persuade them? Can they have
I don't know.
Your choice, your call. You know what I mean? So at race start, Lauda took the lead from pole, but Regazzoni hesitated just enough to allow Scheckter in his Tyrrell to power through on the inside to take up second place.
On lap 2 then, the order was Lauda, Scheckter, Regazzoni, Hunt and Muss.
Yeah, so the rain stopped quicker than anticipated, and as the wind slowly dried the track, Hunt took a courageous decision. He's more courageous than the other one maybe, to switch the slicks on lap 7. And even though there was still a fair bit of water on the track, and he did this to avoid the congestion in the pits because he sort of saw the writing on the wall, I guess.
Yeah, this is kind of like his signature move, take the early chance, get back onto slicks. It's a big move here given that there's still a fair bit of water. A Zandvoort, yeah, so interesting. Will it be the difference? Can we see a Hesketh?
And let's not forget, he is in a Hesketh, so it's like a midfield car that he's done really well in, well in that car this season so far. So by lap 15, the rest of the field had switched to slicks. Remember, Hunt was lap 7, right? By which time Hunt was running in first place, having taken the lead on lap 14. So looks like this paid off big time, didn't it, Rosa?
Yeah, yes, it does look like it right now. On lap 16, the order was Hunt, Jarier, who had had a good exit from the pits. Lauda was now third and Fittipaldi was fourth.
After 25 laps, Hunt was still leading by 10 seconds, but Lauda now had adjusted driving to the dry tyres and the drying track, and he started to reel in the leading 2 cars. Pretty ominous. Lauda's like the purple patch guy.
Yeah. So the Ferrari was not set up for wet weather, and although Lauda caught up to Jarier, remember, in the shadow, Lauda found that the shadow and Jarier combination was very strong in this tricky weather. So they battled for quite a few laps.
And probably a battle that Lauda's not used to having with a shadow.
No, a shadow.
Yeah.
Get out of my way. Where's the blue flag?
Yeah, let me get in the front. You shouldn't be. Yeah, where's the blue flag?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So in a great display of racing, Lauda and Jarier were virtually side by side through every corner and jostling for position on the straights. This sounds amazing.
Yes. At the end of lap 43, so about 20 laps of this racing duel, nearly 30 minutes of intense racing, Lauda finally got past Jarier on the main straight. And then a lap later, Jarier was out of the race when his left rear tyre exploded. Jarier spun out of control, fortunately without hitting anything.
That's amazing that happened right after, and that's what it took for Jarier to lose the position. Do you know what I mean?
An exploding tyre.
Yeah, the poor guy. So Lauda, though, had his sights set on Hunt, and he was slowly closing the gap, which was now only 5 seconds.
It took 10 laps for Lauda to wipe out Hunt's lead, but the Englishman was doing everything to not let Lauda through, timing passing back markers perfectly.
Yeah, the Hesketh looked a little faster than the Ferrari through the fast corners and the straights. So even though Lauda piled on the pressure, Hunt kept the lead.
Finally, the white Hesketh of Hunt crossed the finish line, only 1.06 seconds ahead of Lauda. This gave Hunt and Hesketh their first team win and their driver their first GP win.
So that's our third driver this season that's had their first win. Now, we know we're not going to say this is Hunt's only win.
No.
So we can say there's a couple more to come in his career.
Yeah.
Plus. But that's a big deal. That's a big deal because, yeah. So Regazzoni finished third almost a minute later, which showed how far ahead these other two were. But what a duel. And this was really the beginning of, I think, the Hunt-Lauda rivalry. And it was on the big stage for a win. So that's a good way to start a rivalry.
A rivalry, yep. Yeah. So we've got then Lauda with his second place. He's on 38 points. Reutemann, 25. Emerson Fittipaldi on 21. Pache on 18 and Hunt on 16. Ferrari on the constructors on 41. Brabham on 36. McLaren on 26.5.
Okay. So we're up to the 9th race of the season, the French Grand Prix. It's at Paul Ricard on July 6, 54 laps and hot weather. So the unbelievable and recent James Hunt victory had given the Ford Cosworth engine users a boost because remember they went into the last race in a despondent mood.
Yes.
And then I wonder if that was all set up by Mike Lang to set the barometer so low that when his hero wins, it's all the more remarkable.
But I wonder why the Ford Cosworth engine users were needing a boost. I mean, really the only other car to be starring is Ferrari, and they weren't cleaning up. They
were winning a lot, getting pole positions and whatnot.
They were getting poles, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess
I think there's a bit of Mike Lang stuff here.
Yes, definitely.
So Jarier in the shadow continued to star, so he hasn't given up on his purple patch. He wants to bring it back. So he did earlier in the season by delighting his home crowd and set the fastest time of the first practice session. Lauda had been suffering from the flu, but on Saturday morning felt better and soon set about breaking Stewart's unofficial lap record, only to be pipped by Hunt in that first session by 0.03 seconds. So Hunt's on.
Yeah, he's on. Yep. So the second session saw finally Lauda setting pole time, his 5th of the season. I guess that is kind of domination. Meanwhile, Scheckter put in a super performance in the Tyrrell to grab second spot with Hunt lining up third. Jarier in 4th, Pache in the Brabham in 5th. So we have 5 different marks in the top 5 positions. That's pretty awesome.
This is what we signed up for. And this is the 70s to me. Yeah, you don't see that in many other eras, to be honest. At race start, Lauda and Scheckter left the grid side by side until the first corner, where Lauda was able to take advantage of his pole position and having the better line, he took the lead.
Hunt slotted into 3rd, while Jarier was slow off the mark, so Pache was in 4th.
On lap 3, Lauda's lead. Yeah, you're going to say, sorry?
I was going to say, I don't know if that's a nonsense start.
Not really.
Whenever I hear slow off the mark, I think, what are you doing? Like, how can you not be concentrating on the start?
I mean, we didn't really define a nonsense that. We haven't talked about one for a while because there hasn't been one. But
we haven't, no.
It's sort of like that to go from pole. Normally it's the pole person we focus on, but not always. But like maybe 10th or 8th or 9th.
Yeah, like he only dropped 1 place. So let's not be too hard on the guy. All right, keep going.
So on lap 3, Lauda's lead was out to 3 seconds already, and it was clear that Scheckter was holding everyone up. Or another way to look at it is that maybe Lauda was incredibly fast and Scheckter was normal pace. So depends on glass half full.
I prefer your second one, Louis. I prefer the second one. Yeah.
But anyway, we know Schecter's holding everyone up. So that Tyrrell hasn't really been a leading car. So I think it's the first.
Yeah. So Regazzoni was moving through the field from ninth, and he was now overtaking Hunt and forced his way past Scheckter. And remarkably, Regazzoni was now in second place. That's pretty good. Ninth to second.
Yeah, that's a reverse nonsense start.
Yeah.
We haven't really acknowledged that, but yeah.
No.
The Ferrari 1-2 didn't last though, as Regazzoni's engine blew. So Scheckter was back up into second place. And remember 74, how that Ferrari engine was so reliable? Well, it's not in Regazzoni's hands, just like in Lauda's hands in 74.
In 74,
Lauda had the brunt of the reliability issues with that engine.
Yeah. So Hunt finally made his way back up behind Scheckter, and on lap 9, he overtook Scheckter. Now that he was in second, there was not much he could do to make a dent on Lauda's lead of 6 seconds.
And in the meantime, Mass had taken over third place on lap 13, and Fittipaldi found a way past Scheckter to take fourth place. So we haven't heard much from the defending champ since he walked out of that Spanish Grand Prix. Yeah, it's psychologically something went wrong. He's probably continually telling himself off about it, you know?
Yeah,
at least he can console himself. It was only half points and Mass won it.
That's right.
But still he knows he could have won it probably.
Could have, yeah. So now the race order was Lauda, Hunt, Muss and Fittipaldi. Muss was on the charge and he was catching up to Hunt and pulling away from Fittipaldi. Oh, geez, Fittipaldi's really in his head, isn't he?
Yeah.
And by lap 40, Muss was right on the tail of the second-placed Hesketh.
Yeah, so they were both gaining on Lauda. He's probably got another issue, who knows? As his lead was now marginally down to about 5 seconds, but with 4 laps to go, the lead was now only 3 seconds.
Muss was driving his heart out and trying to pass Hunt, and Hunt was fighting to keep him back and not make any mistakes. I am certain that Hunt is going to cost Muss this win. I know that Lauda is a smart driver, but probably managing his car, maybe not that tightly.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that Lauda he was in danger. If Mas could get past, he was in danger.
Yep.
But anyway, that's how they finished. Lauda winning by a margin of just 1.54 seconds. Yeah, ahead of Hunt, who was only 0.72 ahead of Mas. So poor Mas on a charge, try to show everyone he ain't no home.
Oh, poor Denny. All right, so Niki Lauda, 47 points. He's extended his lead. Reutemann, second on 25, Fittipaldi third on 24, and Hunt fourth on 22. Okay. In the on the constructors, Ferrari is on 50, Brabham's on 36, and McLaren is on 30.5.
Yeah, Ferrari's really putting their foot down on the constructors and Lauda on the drivers.
Yes. All right, we'll stop it there and we'll come back for part 5. Yes, part 5.
Excellent. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.